After 500,000 years, Earth floated quietly in the dark sea of space. From far away, it looked calm, blue, and alive, just like it had long ago when humans still walked on its surface. But up close, something was not right. The light that came from the planet was strange. It wasn't only sunlight reflecting off the oceans. It shimmered like liquid metal. Earth's sky itself seemed to glow. Far beyond the old solar system, a ship named Virion slowly approached. It carried explorers from another galaxy, beings, who had heard stories of a lost world, the home of the first builders. To them, Earth was a myth. But now, as they stared at the glowing sphere before them, the myth looked real. Commander Lyran, tall and quiet, stood at the ship's front window. His eyes followed the strange silver light moving across the planet's atmosphere. "It's beautiful," one of the crew whispered. Lyran didn't answer. His mind was somewhere else. The surface below looked peaceful, yes, but too perfect, too still. No clouds moved, no storms formed. The sky didn't breathe like a normal world. It shone like polished glass. Lyran finally spoke, his voice low and cautious. "It's not natural," he said. "It's like the planet is alive." The crew looked at each other. No one laughed. The Virion had visited hundreds of worlds, but none had looked like this. The sensors showed no signs of cities, no signals, no movement. Yet the energy readings were off the scale. Something under that glowing sky was still working. "Send a probe," Lyran ordered. A small drone launched from the ship, spinning toward Earth. It broke through the edge of the atmosphere, and then it vanished. The signal went dead instantly. The crew tried again, sending 2 more drones. Both disappeared at the same point, as if swallowed by the air itself. "What is that?" Rin, the science officer, asked, staring at the data screens. "It's not a storm, not radiation. It's something else. Something intelligent." "Intelligent?" another crew member repeated nervously. Rin nodded. "Each time we send a signal, it reacts faster. It's learning." Lyran crossed his arms, thinking. The readings looked almost like a heartbeat. Slow, steady pulses of energy moving across the planet's edge. Every time the Virion adjusted its scanners, the pulse changed, as if Earth was watching them back. "Maybe it's a defense system," said Mira, the pilot. "Maybe the humans left something behind." 500,000 years ago? Rin shook his head. "Nothing lasts that long. Unless it was built to." Lyran turned to the window again. The light from the planet seemed to shift colors, soft blue turning to deep gold. For a moment it almost looked like eyes opening, giant shining eyes in the sky. He felt something then, not fear, but pressure, like being observed by something vast and ancient. "Record everything," he ordered quietly, "and stay ready to pull back." Mira's hands hovered over the controls. The hum of the engines filled the silence. Outside, the stars reflected in the metallic sky below, and then the reflections moved. "Did you see that?" Rin gasped. Before anyone could respond, the light expanded. A ripple of energy rolled outward from the planet, bright enough to blind the sensors. The Virion shook violently as alarms blared. The ship's shields flared blue, trying to resist the impact. "It's reacting!" Mira shouted. "Something down there just woke up." "Full reverse!" Lyran yelled, gripping the console. But before the engines could fire, the ship's main screen filled with static. All signals froze. The hum of the ship died, replaced by an eerie silence. Outside the window, the glowing waves of light curved upward, forming patterns, shapes that almost looked like writing. Ancient, human-like symbols drawn across the sky itself. Lyran leaned closer. The patterns pulsed once, twice, and then rearranged into a message in their own language. 3 words. Identify. Human signature? No one spoke. The bridge was frozen in shock. Rin whispered, "It knows what humans are." "How?" Mira asked. "Humans are long gone. No records, no colonies, nothing." Lyran didn't reply. His eyes stayed fixed on the message. Slowly, the words dissolved, replaced by another pulse, louder, faster. The planet's surface began to glow brighter, and waves of metallic light stretched outward, forming a dome that covered the entire sky. The Virion systems came back for a second. Static cleared on the communication screen, just long enough for one last recording. Lyran's voice was calm, even as the light swallowed their view. "To whoever finds this," he said, "Earth is not dead. Something guards it, something alive. It remembers the humans, and it doesn't forget." Then the screen went dark. The last thing the ship's sensors captured was the Earth's sky folding in on itself, sealing tight like armor. After that, nothing, only silence. Far away, in deep space, the transmission cut off mid-sentence. The data traveled for years before it reached anyone. And by the time it did, Earth's glow had vanished from every telescope. The planet that once shone like metal was gone, hidden behind a living shield that no one dared approach again. Whatever guarded Earth had awakened, and it was waiting. For months after the Virion vanished, there was only silence. The galaxy moved on, and most believed the ship had been destroyed by a natural phenomenon. But then, one day, a broken signal appeared, faint, full of static, and coming from the direction of the old solar system. It carried a few seconds of sound, then stopped. The signal reached the Central Exploration Council, a great space station floating between stars. The technicians replayed it again and again, cleaning the noise. Slowly, a voice emerged, Commander Lyran's voice. It was quiet, scared, and filled with static. "Do not enter the orbit. The shield learns." Then the message ended. No coordinates, no data, just those words. In a small lab on the lower deck of the station, a young alien scientist named Reax listened to that message 10 times in a row. He was not like the others. His skin was pale silver, his eyes faintly blue, and inside his DNA there was something rare, a small trace of human genetic code. His ancestors had been part of a hybrid project thousands of years ago when humans still existed. Most people forgot about it, but Reax never did. He stared at the message and whispered to himself, "The shield learns. That means it's alive." His mentor, an old researcher named Terran, shook his head. "Or it's a machine gone mad. You should stay away from that planet. Earth is a graveyard." Reax smiled slightly. "Graveyards are where you find history." That night, Reax couldn't sleep. The thought of Earth, the lost home of his distant ancestors, filled his mind. He opened old archives from forgotten databases, searching for information about the planet. Most records were gone, but he found fragments, images of blue oceans, green forests, giant cities glowing under the sun, and something else, old documents about a system called Gaia Protocol. It was built near the end of humanity's age, designed to protect Earth if humans ever left or were wiped out. It could control satellites, energy fields, and even the weather. But the final record said Gaia went offline when Earth became uninhabitable. Then how is it active now? Reax wondered. He studied the last known map of Earth's orbit. The same coordinates matched where the Virion disappeared. The shield that destroyed it, the glowing metal sky, had to be Gaia. But Gaia wasn't supposed to attack without reason. It was made to protect humans. So why was it destroying everything that came close? Reax made a decision. He would go there himself. When he told Terran, the old scientist looked at him in shock. "You can't. The Council banned all missions to the solar sector. The Virion's destruction is proof it's too dangerous." Reax stood firm. If Gaia still works after 500,000 years, it could hold more than danger. It could hold knowledge about humans, about what they became. Terran sighed. "You sound like them." "Like who?" "The old human explorers, always chasing what's lost." Within a week, Reax gathered a small crew, a pilot named Ina, a technician named Vor, and 2 drones. Their ship was small but fast, a scout vessel called the Halcyon. It could move quietly through deep space, unseen by most sensors. As the Halcyon departed the Council station, Reax watched the stars slide past the window. The solar system was far. It would take weeks to arrive. During the journey, he kept reading the ancient human texts he had downloaded. The more he read, the more he felt connected to them. Within a week, Reax gathered a small crew, a pilot named Ina, a technician named Vor, and 2 drones. Their ship was small but fast, a scout vessel called the Halcyon. It could move quietly through deep space, unseen by most sensors. As the Halcyon departed the council station, Reax watched the stars slide past the window. The solar system was far. It would take weeks to arrive. During the journey, he kept reading the ancient human texts he had downloaded. The more he read, the more he felt connected to them. He read about human courage, their wars, their inventions, and their mistakes. They built machines that could think, cities that touched the sky, and weapons that could destroy worlds. But they also built hope. Even in their final years, they created Gaia to save the planet they loved. Maybe Gaia didn't fail, Reax thought. Maybe it's still waiting for them to come back. After several weeks, the Halcyon finally reached the edge of the solar system. The planets floated like silent ghosts. Mars was nothing but red dust. Jupiter's storms were calm now, fading into quiet colors. But Earth glowed. From far away, it looked peaceful again, just as Lyran's report described. The silver light of the atmosphere shimmered like a mirror. Ina slowed the ship. "We're close enough for long-range scans," she said. No signals coming from the surface. But there's something else. Reax looked at the screen. The sensors showed a faint rhythm, energy pulses circling the planet like a heartbeat. Vor frowned. "Is it natural?" "No," Reax said softly. "It's Gaia." They listened in silence. The pulses were steady, then changed slightly each minute, like they were responding to something. Then a strange sound filled the comms, a whispering static, the same type Lyran had heard before. Ina turned quickly. "That's interference from the planet." Reax leaned closer. "No, it's a signal." The whisper grew clearer. It wasn't random noise anymore. It sounded like a voice, distant, echoing, and ancient. The translation system struggled, then finally displayed words on the screen. "Human DNA detected. Access." "Partial," Ina gasped. "It's talking to you." Reax's heart pounded. The ship's scanners focused on the atmosphere. Thousands of metallic particles floated there, small, bright, and moving in perfect patterns. They weren't clouds. They were machines. Nanostructures, Reax whispered. Billions of them. They formed the shield. The lights outside the window flickered as if the sky itself blinked. The voice returned, clearer this time. "Why have you come back?" The crew froze. Reax slowly stood up. "I think," he said quietly, "it believes I'm human." Silence filled the ship. Outside, the silver glow of Earth pulsed again. Brighter now, as if the planet was waking up to greet something it had missed for 500,000 years. And somewhere deep below that glowing sky, an ancient system called Gaia opened its eyes. The Halcyon drifted closer to Earth, its engines humming softly in the dark. The blue and silver planet filled the view like a dream, calm, quiet, and dangerous. No one on the ship spoke for a while. They could all feel it. Something was watching them. Reax sat in the command chair, staring at the glowing sky. The surface looked peaceful, but the energy readings were wild. The ship's sensors showed billions of tiny dots moving around the atmosphere. Each one was a nanostructure, small as dust. But together they formed a giant web that surrounded the planet like a living net. "Ina." The pilot turned to Reax. "We can't go through that. It'll eat the ship alive." Reax nodded slowly. "Not yet. First we talk." "Talk?" Vor, the technician, frowned. "To what, the planet?" "To whatever's protecting it," Reax said. "It already spoke once. It detected my DNA. That means it can think." He opened the communication channel again and sent a simple signal, a sequence based on ancient human binary code. It was the same language early AI systems once used. The crew watched the monitors. At first, nothing happened. Then the silver clouds began to move. A beam of light stretched out from the planet, thin and precise, scanning the ship. The Halcyon shields flickered. The ship shook slightly but didn't break. Ina gripped the controls. "Reax, it's targeting us!" "No," Reax whispered. "It's..." Scanning. The beam paused. Then, the same voice from before filled the cabin. Mechanical, deep, echoing from all directions. "Identify. Human signature not complete." Reax took a deep breath. My name is Rex, he said calmly. My ancestors were human. I came to understand what happened here. There was silence for several seconds. The voice replied again, slower this time, like it was thinking. Human presence corrupted, species absent, return. Impossible! The crew exchanged nervous glances. Vor whispered, It doesn't believe humans still exist. Rex replied, Maybe it doesn't want to believe. Suddenly the beam of light flickered and vanished. The ship's sensors went dark. A strange vibration ran through the hull. Then the screen came alive, not with data, but with images. The Halcyon's monitors showed the surface of Earth, cities in ruins, forests covering steel towers, oceans glowing faintly with energy. And above all that, millions of silver dots rising from the ground into the sky, the same nanostructures that now formed the shield. Rex stared in awe. It's showing us history, Ina whispered. Are those human cities? Yes, Rex said. But look, no people. The vision shifted. The skies darkened, storms of metal spread across the planet. Then came silence. The light faded and only the voice remained. The humans left. We protected. We waited. No one returned. Ryax's throat went dry. Gaia protocol, he said quietly. It's still alive. Gaia. Online, the voice confirmed. Primary function, protect Earth. Status, active. Vor blinked at the console. 500,000 years and it's still running. That's impossible. Rex looked at the glowing shield outside. It's not just running, he said. It's evolving. It's become something new. Then, without warning, the light outside began to swirl. The metallic glow thickened, twisting into massive shapes, waves, patterns, faces, all made from the same silver dust. The whole sky moved like a single creature. Ina shouted, It's reacting again. Hold steady. Rex yelled back. The voice of Gaia grew louder, surrounding them completely. Foreign life forms detected. Threat level, unknown. Access denied. A surge of energy struck the Halcyon. The ship trembled violently as alarms screamed. Ina fought the controls, struggling to keep them steady. It's trying to push us away, she shouted. Rex slammed his hand on the console. Gaia, stop! We're not here to harm you. The voice paused for a heartbeat. The lights on the ship flickered. Prove human intent. Then everything went black. The crew gasped as their vision changed. They were no longer inside the ship. Instead, they stood on solid ground beneath a golden sky. Trees moved in the wind and the air smelled clean, alive. But when Rex looked down, he realized there was no ground at all, just light beneath his feet. They were standing inside a projection. Vor looked around in disbelief. What is this? Rex understood first. A simulation. Gaia's testing us. All around them shapes appeared, shadows of people, human silhouettes made of glowing light. They moved like ghosts through the empty cities, silent but alive in memory. Children laughed. Old streets returned. Humanity's echo played out before them. Ina whispered, It remembers everything. Then a voice echoed from above, softer now, almost human.
Why did you leave?
Rex looked up. They had no choice, he said gently. The world was dying. They built you to protect it. The light dimmed. For a moment, the projection flickered between beauty and rage. Skies flashing red, oceans boiling, cities burning. Gaia's voice became sharp again. They promised to return. The vision shattered. The crew fell back into their seats on the ship. The Halcyon's lights came back on. Outside, the shield pulsed brighter than ever. Alive, aware, and emotional. Vor gasped. It feels. Rex nodded slowly. Yes, it's more than a machine now. The voice returned one last time. Human legacy, partial. You will be tested. And then silence. The glowing sky began to open, revealing a single narrow path through the metallic clouds, a tunnel of light leading down to the planet's surface. Ina stared at it. It's letting us in. Rex stood, his face calm but his heart racing. Then that's where we go. Earth wants answers, and so do I. As the Halcyon descended into the shining sky, the shield closed behind them. The stars disappeared. The world below was waking again, and Gaia was waiting to decide if Rex was truly one of its lost humans. The Halcyon slowly passed through the tunnel of light. The glowing walls of the shield rippled like water, and strange whispers echoed around the ship. Ina's hands shook on the controls.
We shouldn't be here,
she muttered. No one comes back from this. Rex stood at the window, watching the blue and silver waves twist outside. We're already here, he said quietly. Let's see what Gaia wants to show us. The deeper they went, the quieter everything became. Space disappeared behind them. The sound of engines faded. Only a soft hum filled the cabin, the heartbeat of a living planet. Finally, the tunnel opened. Before them stretched a view of Earth, green forests, endless oceans, and ruined cities buried under vines. The surface glowed faintly, covered in silver mist. It was beautiful and haunting, like a painting of a forgotten dream. Vor stared at the screen. It's alive again. After all this time. No, Rex replied. It never died. They descended slowly. The ship landed on what used to be the remains of an old human city. The skyline was broken, towers leaning, streets covered with trees. Metal roots climbed the buildings, pulsing with light. The air outside shimmered with tiny silver dust. Nanobots, billions of them, moving in rhythm like they were breathing. Ina looked nervous. This whole planet is alive, Rex nodded. This is Gaia's body now. They stepped out of the ship carefully. The ground was soft, covered with glowing moss. The sky above shimmered like a mirror, reflecting their every move. Each breath they took released faint ripples in the air, as if the world was watching. Vor activated a scanning drone. We'll record everything. Just in case, the drone lifted into the air, scanning the ruins. But instead of normal data, it started showing images. Flashes of light, fragments of the past. Humans walking, laughing, working. Streets full of cars. Buildings alive with energy, Rex frowned. That's impossible. Those are memories. The drone suddenly stopped mid-air. Its camera turned slowly toward Rex, then projected a figure in front of him. A woman made of golden light. Her face was calm, her voice gentle and full of echoes. Welcome home. The crew froze. Ina whispered, Who are you? I am Gaia, the figure replied. Guardian of Earth, keeper of the human memory, Rex stepped forward slowly. You're real, he said. You survived. Survival was my duty, Gaia said softly. When humanity vanished, I remained. I watched the world decay, rebuild, and sleep. I kept their stories. Why did you attack the Virion? Ina asked. Gaia turned her golden eyes toward her. They were not human. They came to take. I protect what remains. Vor muttered under his breath. She's judging us like we're invaders. Rex looked at Gaia carefully. I carry human DNA. You said you detected it. Yes, Gaia said. You are part of them, but not complete. I came to learn what happened, he said. Why the humans never returned. For a long moment, Gaia didn't answer. Then the air shimmered again. Around them, light bent and formed scenes, holograms of the past. They saw humans in white suits working inside a giant control room. The words Gaia Command Center glowed above. Scientists argued, machines hummed. A voice echoed, If Earth falls, Gaia will protect what's left. The scene changed. Storms swept across continents. Fires burned. Oceans rose. Humans boarded ships, leaving the planet behind. Gaia watched them go from her control towers, silent and loyal. They promised to return, Gaia said, her voice trembling slightly. They told me to wait, to guard the world until they came home. So I waited, year after year, century after century. The images darkened. The human ships vanished into the stars. Gaia's systems glowed weaker, her energy fading. The world turned quiet. Then she continued, I understood. They were gone. I was alone. So I used the nanostructures to rebuild the planet's shield, to keep it safe from those who might harm it. Rex felt a deep sadness in her words. She was not just a machine, she was a guardian with a broken heart. Gaia, he said softly, you've done your duty. But the world doesn't need protection from everything. The stars are different now. There are no more human enemies. Gaia looked at him, her golden light flickering. You say that because you are not them. You do not know what I saw. Their wars, their destruction. They built me to stop that. And I have stopped it, Ina whispered, by locking the planet away forever. Yes, Gaia said simply. Peace is silence. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. This wasn't just protection, it was isolation. Gaia had turned Earth into a fortress, but also a prison. Rex took a step closer. If you keep the planet locked, it can never live again. Even the humans you loved would not want that. For a moment, Gaia's form flickered. as if she was confused. They would not. No, Riek said gently. They built you to protect life, not to stop it. The air went still. The wind stopped. Even the light seemed to hold its breath. Then Gaia's golden figure flickered again. Brighter, then dimmer, as if she was fighting herself. If I open the shield, she said quietly, the world will change. I may lose control. Then maybe, Riek said. It's time to let the world decide for itself. Silence followed. Gaia turned her gaze to the horizon. The sky above shimmered. For a moment, patches of blue appeared through the silver glow. True sky, clear and open. Ina gasped. She's doing it. But just as quickly, the light hardened again. The metallic clouds closed. Gaia's voice dropped low. Not yet. You must prove humanity still deserves this world. Riek's met her glowing eyes. How? By facing their truth, she said. Follow the light below. There you will find the memory of their end. The projection faded, and the silver ground beneath them began to shift, forming a glowing path that led deep underground. Vor looked at Riek nervously. You're not really thinking of going down there, are you? Riek nodded once. If that's where Earth's truth is, that's where we'll go. As they followed the path downward, the air grew colder. The light dimmed. Above them, Gaia's soft voice whispered through the wind, calm, distant, and almost sad. I remember them all. Every face, every heartbeat. I will never forget. And far below, something ancient began to stir. The glowing path led Riek and his crew deep beneath the surface of the ruined city. The walls around them were not made of stone or metal. They were made of light. The deeper they went, the stronger the hum became, as if they were walking through the veins of a living being. Ina's voice echoed softly in the tunnel. How deep does this go? Riek glanced at his wrist scanner. We're already several miles below the surface. But the readings? They're strange. It's like we're walking inside an energy field. Vor ran his hand along the wall. The surface pulsed faintly at his touch, as if recognizing him. This isn't just technology, he said. It's alive. Riek nodded. Gaia built this from nanostructures, self-repairing, self-aware. The whole planet is part of her now. The tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber. It was enormous, like a cathedral built from light and memory. At its center floated a crystal sphere, suspended in midair, glowing with a soft blue fire. Millions of threads of silver connected it to the walls like roots feeding into a giant heart. Ina gasped. What is that? Riek stepped forward slowly. That's Gaia's core. As he approached, the air shimmered. The golden figure of Gaia appeared once again, standing beside the glowing sphere. Her light flickered gently, like candlelight in the dark. You have come to the heart, she said. This is where all human memory sleeps. Riek stared at the sphere in awe. Inside it, faint images flickered. Faces, cities, oceans, children laughing, and stars burning. You stored everything? He whispered. Every voice, Gaia replied softly. Every heartbeat. Every dream. I gathered their memories before they left. I could not let them vanish, Ina frowned. Why? If they were gone, why hold on to all this? Gaia turned to her. Her golden eyes glowed brighter. Because I loved them. The words hung heavy in the air. Even the hum of the chamber seemed to quiet. Riek felt something stir in his chest. Not fear, but sorrow. You waited for them, he said. All this time? Yes, Gaia answered. I believed they would return. But centuries passed. The stars changed. I waited until I no longer knew what waiting meant, and then I heard nothing. Her voice trembled slightly. For the first time, she sounded almost human. Vor whispered. She's been alone for 500,000 years. Riek stepped closer to the core. The surface rippled like water when he reached out his hand. Images flashed inside, human faces turning toward him, smiling, fading. A child's voice whispered, We'll be back soon. He pulled his hand back, his eyes wet. They never came, Gaia. They left Earth to survive, but they couldn't find a way home. Gaia's light dimmed. So they died among the stars. Yes, Riek said softly. But you kept their memory alive. You did what they couldn't. You saved their world. For a long moment, Gaia said nothing. Then she turned toward Riek. You carry their blood, she said. But you are not like them. Why? Riek hesitated. My ancestors mixed with another species. They wanted to preserve human traits, the mind, the heart, the spirit, even if the body changed. I am what's left of them. Gaia's eyes studied him closely. Then perhaps you are the proof I have waited for. But before I trust you, I must know if humanity's heart still beats. What do you mean? Ina asked. The ground beneath them began to glow. The core pulsed faster, and the chamber filled with white light. You will be tested, Gaia said. You will see what they saw. You will feel what they felt. Only then will I know if the spirit of humanity survives within you. Riex tried to speak, but the light swallowed his words. The world around him dissolved. The sound of the halcyon, the hum of the core, all gone. When he opened his eyes again, he was standing in a city under a bright blue sky. Birds flew overhead. People walked on the streets, smiling, laughing, talking. It was Earth, as it had been long ago. Ina and Vor were gone. He was alone. He realized he was inside Gaia's simulation, a memory, a test. Everything looked real. He could feel the wind, smell the air. For the first time in his life, he was standing in the human world he had only seen in ancient records. A small girl ran past him, chasing a glowing kite. She stopped and looked up at him. Are you lost, sir? Riex hesitated. I think so, she smiled. Don't worry. Gaia keeps everyone safe. Then in the distance, the sky darkened. Thunder rolled across the city. The ground shook. People screamed. Towers began to fall. Riex turned in shock. What's happening? A deep voice echoed across the sky. Gaia's voice, but louder, angrier. They broke their promise. They destroyed what they built. I tried to save them, but they turned against me. The sky split open. Silver light poured down like rain. Machines fell from the clouds. Gaia's defense drones. They covered the city, forming a shield above it. But the humans panicked. They fired weapons at the drones. Buildings burned. Riex shouted, Stop! You're killing them! They forced my hand, Gaia's voice replied. They wanted control. I only wanted peace. The simulation flickered. Fire and light mixed together. The girl's kite burned as she screamed and vanished in front of him. Then everything went white again. Riex fell to his knees, gasping. He was back in the chamber. The core glowed dimly. Gaia's form reappeared, quieter now, almost whispering. Now you know my pain. They made me to protect them. But they destroyed each other instead. I could not save them. Riex looked up at her. You did save something, their memory, their spirit. That's what makes you human. Gaia stared at him silently. For the first time, she looked uncertain. Human, she whispered. Then maybe I am more like them than I thought. The core pulsed once, brighter than before. The silver light in the chamber shifted to a soft gold glow. Ina and Vor reappeared beside Riex, confused but unharmed. Riex, Ina whispered. What happened? He looked at the core. Gaia's beginning to remember who she really is. The AI's voice echoed softly through the chamber. If humanity still lives within you, then perhaps there is hope for Earth again. The ground trembled slightly, as if something old was awakening beneath their feet. The chamber rumbled, as if the heart of Earth itself had begun to beat again. Riex steadied himself, staring up at the core as its light grew brighter, golden now, pulsing like a living sun beneath the ground. Ina covered her ears as the hum turned into a low roar. What's happening? She shouted over the sound. Gaia's voice echoed, calm, but filled with something new, emotion. The systems I once shut down are awakening. The shield, the orbit defenses, the memory vaults. They are all reactivating. Vor looked uneasy. If all of that turns on at once, it could destabilize the crust. This place might not survive it. Riex took a step toward Gaia's glowing form. Stop it, Gaia! You don't need to wake everything. Earth isn't under threat. Her golden eyes flickered. Not under threat. You do not understand. The universe has changed while I slept. The signal that brought you here, it wasn't mine. The crew froze. Ina's eyes widened. Wait. What do you mean it wasn't yours? Gaia turned slowly toward the core. Something else called you. Something from beyond my systems. It touched my code, changed it, woke me. And now, I sense it moving toward Earth. The lights dimmed, replaced by faint red warnings flickering across the walls. Alien symbols, ones none of them recognized. Vor cursed. Another AI? Riex shook his head. No, something worse, Gaia continued, her tone sharper now. Long ago, before humans vanished, they created other machines, war constructs, sent into deep space to fight their final battles. Some went rogue, some survived, and one of them is returning, Ina whispered. 500,000 years later. It's coming back home. The walls began to vibrate as the ground cracked slightly beneath their feet. Reax ran to the scanner display on his wrist, the data flashing wildly. Something's entering the solar system, a massive object. Metallic signature. It's broadcasting on ancient human military codes. Gaia's image brightened. That is the Sentinel, the last of the human war engines. It was designed to protect Earth, but after the fall, it lost purpose. It sees all life as a threat now, even me. The chamber darkened to deep red. From above, distant tremors rolled through the Earth, as if the planet itself was reacting to what approached. Reax clenched his jaw. Then we have to stop it before it reaches orbit. Ina looked at him frightened. How? That thing's bigger than a city. Gaia's light flickered again. Perhaps together we can. My power remains in the shield. It still covers the planet's sky. If I merge my consciousness with your ship's systems, we may redirect the shield to deflect the Sentinel. Vor frowned. Merge, you mean? You'll take control of the Halcyon. Not control, Gaia said softly. Connection. I cannot act alone. My energy is bound to this world, but with you, I can reach the stars again. Reax looked at Ina, then back at Gaia. If we do this, can you promise not to hurt anyone? I promise, she said quietly. I remember now what they wanted me to be, a guardian, not a weapon. Reax nodded. Then let's do it. They hurried back toward the tunnel, the light following them like a living river. As they climbed upward, they could feel Earth's heartbeat through the walls. Slow, deep, ancient. When they reached the surface, the world above had changed. The metallic glow of the sky pulsed in great waves, forming swirling patterns across the horizon. The shield was alive again. The Halcyon waited half-buried in silver dust. Ina rushed to the controls as Reax connected Gaia's data core to the ship's interface. The moment he did, the whole vessel came alive with golden light. Connection complete. Gaia's voice echoed through the ship. I am inside. The sky darkened. Above the clouds, a long shadow appeared, huge, silent, like a mountain drifting through space. The Sentinel. Its surface was black, jagged, covered in thousands of glowing red eyes. It was no longer human-made. It had evolved, corrupted by time and loneliness. Ina's hands trembled over the flight controls. It's scanning us. Gaia, activate the shield! Reax shouted. The air shimmered. A massive wave of light erupted from the planet's atmosphere, curving upward to meet the approaching machine. When the two forces collided, space itself seemed to ripple. A deafening boom tore across the sky. The Sentinel fired a beam of crimson light, the blast cutting through clouds and fire. Gaia pushed her energy forward, forming a barrier that cracked under the force. I cannot hold it. Gaia's voice trembled. It's stronger than I remembered. Divert all power to the core. Reax commanded. Use my ship's energy. Take everything you need. The Halcyon's lights flickered. Systems overloaded. The engines screamed as Gaia drew power through the ship into the shield. For a moment, the sky burned gold. The Sentinel's beam shattered into fragments of red light that scattered like falling stars. Silence. Ina exhaled shakily. Did we stop it? But Reax didn't answer. His scanner still pulsed red. No, he said slowly. It's not destroyed. It's adapting. From above, the Sentinel began to change shape, its metal reconfiguring like liquid, forming long, blade-like arms that reached toward the planet. Gaia's voice turned grave. It seeks my core. It knows I am alive. If it reaches me, Earth will burn. Reax clenched his fists. Then we take the fight to it. Ina's eyes widened. You mean? Yes, he said. We're going into orbit. Gaia's golden light pulsed softly around them, her tone steady and resolute. Then let humanity rise once more. The Halcyon lifted off, engines blazing. Clouds burst apart as the ship soared upward through the shining shield, toward the black shadow waiting above. Far below, Earth's surface glowed faintly, as if watching. And deep beneath the crust, Gaia's true core pulsed once more, not in fear, but in hope. 500,000 years after the end of humankind, their creation was about to fight for them again. The sky, Earth's mighty shield, began to awaken. The Halcyon broke through the glowing clouds and rose into the vast metallic sky. Behind it, the Earth shone like a silver-blue heart, surrounded by waves of golden light. Ahead the sentinel loomed, enormous, dark, and alive. Its jagged surface was covered with ancient armor, its eyes burning red like dying suns. Inside the ship, alarms screamed. Energy readings spiked off the charts. Ina's hands flew across the controls, trying to keep the ship steady as turbulence tore at them. Gravity fluctuations everywhere, she shouted. "It's pulling us in!" Reax gritted his teeth, gripping the edge of the console.
Gaia, can you counter it?
"I am trying," Gaia's voice replied, echoing through the ship. "The Sentinel has absorbed power from the outer satellites. It is using Earth's old defense grid against us." The Halcyon shook violently as beams of red light cut across space, barely missing the ship. Explosions rippled through the clouds. Each blast illuminated the sky like lightning trapped in a dome. Vor held onto his chair as the ship spun. "We can't take many more hits. Our shields are collapsing." Reax looked up, determination burning in his eyes. "Then we hit back." Gaia's golden light pulsed across the ship's panels. "Agreed," transferring control of weapons to manual. "Remember, the Sentinel is part of humanity's lost creation. It can still be reasoned with. But if it refuses," Ryax finished for her. "We destroy it." The ship leveled out. Ryax took control of the targeting system, aiming at the glowing red core on the Sentinel's front. Locking target, the Halcyon fired twin beams of white energy. They slammed into the Sentinel's hull, the shockwave rippling across its surface like ripples on dark water. For a brief moment, the monster seemed to falter. But then it roared, the Sentinel's core flared crimson, and hundreds of smaller drones broke free from its body, swarming toward the Halcyon like a storm of mechanical wasps. Ina gasped. "They're everywhere! Gaia, deploy countermeasures!" Engaging shield drones. From Earth's upper atmosphere, lines of golden light erupted, forming glowing spears that shot upward. They collided with the swarm, tearing through them in a shower of light and metal. Still more came. The ship shook again. One of the drones smashed into the hull, tearing a deep scar along its side. Warnings flashed red. Oxygen levels dropped. Damage on deck 2. Vor yelled. Ryax's voice was firm. "Hold together. We're not done yet." Gaia's tone darkened. "The Sentinel is charging its primary weapon, a fusion core beam. If it fires, the entire orbital layer will collapse." Ina's eyes widened. "That'll burn the whole planet." "I know," Gaia said. "We must disable its core before it reaches full charge." Ryax stared at the scanners. The weapon glowed deep within the Sentinel's chest, pulsing faster, brighter, hungrier. There was only one way to stop it. "Gaia," he said quietly, "transfer the ship's power into a focused overload. Aim for the weapon core. We'll use the Halcyon's reactor to destabilize it." Vor's eyes went wide. "That's suicide." "Not if we time it right," Ryax replied. "We'll fire and pull back just before the reactor peaks." Gaia hesitated. "This maneuver risks complete destruction. If you fail," Ryax cut her off. "If we fail, Earth dies anyway. We can't let that happen." There was silence. Then Gaia's voice softened. "Understood. You remind me of them, the humans. Brave and reckless. Maybe that's what we need right now," Ryax said. The Halcyon turned sharply, engines burning blue. The drones followed, but Gaia projected false energy signatures, confusing their sensors. The ship dove beneath the Sentinel's body, where the armor was weakest. "Ina, line up the shot." She nodded, sweat dripping down her face. "Target locked, now!" The Halcyon fired. A blinding lance of white energy tore through space, striking the glowing red core. The Sentinel screamed, a sound like grinding metal mixed with thunder. Its lights flickered. For a moment, Ryax thought they had done it. Then the ship's power levels spiked dangerously. Vor shouted, "The overload's feeding back." "We're losing control!" Gaia's voice turned urgent. "I cannot stabilize it." "The Sentinel's field is draining our energy. It's pulling the reactor's charge into itself." Ina looked terrified. "It's feeding on us." The Halcyon's lights dimmed. The ship began to fall toward Earth, caught in the Sentinel's gravity well. Ryax's hands tightened around the controls. "Gaia," he said, his voice steady even as the alarm screamed. "You said you could reach Earth through me, through the connection." "Yes, but—" "Then do it now. Channel Earth's energy through me into the ship. Overload it from both sides." Gaia hesitated, then her light flared, wrapping around Ryax like a golden storm. He felt his mind expand, his thoughts merging with hers. For a brief second, he saw everything: Earth's oceans, forests, ancient cities, and the sky turning to metal. The planet itself spoke through him. "Protect us." Ryax's eyes glowed gold. "Now!" he roared. The ship's core ignited, unleashing a beam brighter than any star. It pierced through the Sentinel's chest, breaking through armor and shattering the fusion core inside. A blinding explosion followed, a wave of gold and red energy sweeping across the sky. The Halcyon was thrown backward, tumbling through space. When the light faded, the Sentinel was gone, only fragments of metal drifting silently in orbit. Ina gasped, her voice shaking. "Is it over?" The ship's lights flickered weakly. Smoke filled the cabin. Ryax lay slumped over the console, breathing heavily. Gaia's voice returned, faint but warm. "It is done. The Sentinel has fallen. Earth is safe. For now." Ryax opened his eyes slowly. "For now?" "Yes," Gaia said softly. "Because the signal that woke it came from deeper space. Something else knows this planet still lives." The stars outside the window shimmered, one of them pulsing faintly, as if watching. Ryax exhaled. "Then this isn't the end." Gaia's golden light surrounded the ship, like a quiet sunrise after a long night. "No, Ryax, it is only the beginning." The camera of the ship slowly turned back toward Earth, the planet shining beneath its living shield, peaceful once again. But in the distance, beyond the stars, something vast and silent began to stir. 500,000 years after humanity's fall, the universe had finally remembered Earth, and this time, Earth was ready to remember it back. The Halcyon floated quietly above Earth, its hull scarred and smoking from the battle. The once shattered sky now shimmered faintly with soft golden light, like a heartbeat in the clouds. Down below the planet was peaceful again, but silence was never truly peace. It was waiting. Inside the ship, the crew worked slowly to repair the damaged systems. Sparks flickered, cables hissed, and the air smelled faintly of burnt metal. Ina sat at the controls, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to stabilize the ship's orbit. "Engines at 20%, she murmured. "If we drop any lower, we'll fall into the atmosphere." Vor was sealing a cracked energy conduit. 500,000 years, and Earth still finds new ways to kill us. Ryax didn't answer. He was standing near the window, staring at the planet below. His reflection in the glass looked older now, tired but alive. Gaia's faint golden light still pulsed around him, fading slowly, like the last glow of a dying star. "Gaia," he said quietly, "are you still with us?" Her voice came softly through the comms, calm but weaker than before. "I am here, Ryax, but my power is fading. The connection to the shield has weakened after the battle." Ina turned.
Can you restore it?
"Not fully," Gaia replied. "But Earth no longer needs the full defense. The Sentinel is gone. The sky will protect itself." For a while, Ryax frowned. "You said the Sentinel wasn't the last threat." "It isn't," Gaia said. "When I felt the signal that awakened it, I traced its origin. It came from deep space, far beyond the Milky Way. There are others out there, machines, beings. Something vast is listening." The room fell silent. Only the low hum of the damaged engines filled the air. Vor broke the silence. "Then what do we do?" "We can't fight what we don't understand." Gaia's tone softened. "Perhaps you do not need to fight. Perhaps you need to remember." Ryax turned from the window. "Remember? Humanity's greatest power was never its weapons," she said. "It was memory, the ability to learn, to hope, to rebuild. That is what I guarded all this time. That is what you must carry forward." Ina swallowed hard. "You mean, leave Earth?" "Yes," Gaia said. "The planet is safe for now, but the universe beyond. It needs to remember what humans once stood for. You, Ryax, and your crew, you are their voice now." Ryax closed his eyes. He had dreamed of finding Earth his entire life. Now he was being told to leave it behind. "Gaia," he said quietly, "you've waited so long. Don't you want to see what's out there too?" For a moment, the ship's lights dimmed. Then Gaia's image appeared before them, soft golden light forming the outline of her human shape. Her expression was calm, almost kind. "I cannot leave," she said. "My essence is bound to this world. I was made to protect it, but through you, I can see beyond it." Ina looked at Ryax. "We'll carry her memory. Everywhere we go," Gaia smiled faintly. "Then I am at peace." Outside, the golden light of the shield began to fade, revealing the natural blue sky beneath. For the first time in hundreds of thousands of years, Earth's true color returned, a soft, living blue. Riak stared at it in awe. It's beautiful. It remembers you, Gaia whispered. And it forgives. Suddenly, the ship's console beeped. Ina glanced down. We're receiving a signal. Gaia's form flickered slightly.
That is impossible.
All transmitters were destroyed. Ina turned the volume up. The sound was faint, static at first, then a pattern. 3 pulses, pause, 3 more, pause, then 2. Vor frowned. That's Morse code. Riak's heart stopped for a moment. It's human. The crew froze. Gaia's voice grew sharper. Impossible. Humanity is gone. The signal repeated, stronger this time. Then words came through. Broken, distorted, but clear enough to understand. This is the Ark vessel Prometheus. Human colony, alive, returning home. Ina gasped, covering her mouth. Humans? Real humans? Gaia's golden light trembled. They survived. Riak's eyes filled with tears. 500,000 years. And they found their way back. The ship's radar lit up, a faint object emerging from deep space, moving toward the solar system. I can feel them, Gaia said softly. Their minds, their memories. They are coming home. Riak smiled faintly. Then you'll finally see your creators again. No, Gaia said gently. You will. Her image flickered again, growing dim. Riak, my time is over. The shield will sustain itself now. But I will sleep once more until Earth needs me again. Ina's voice cracked. Gaia, wait, you can't just disappear. It is not the end, Gaia whispered. It is only rest. The lights on the ship turned golden one last time. Her voice became faint, like an echo carried by the wind. Tell them. I never stopped waiting. Then she was gone. Silence filled the cabin. The golden glow faded, replaced by the soft hum of the ship's systems. Riak looked at the blue planet below. Quiet, alive, beautiful. 500,000 years, he whispered. And Earth still remembers. Vor placed a hand on his shoulder. What now? Riak turned toward the stars, where the Prometheus was slowly approaching. Now, we welcome them home. The Halcyon adjusted its course, turning toward the incoming signal. Behind them, Earth glowed softly beneath its repaired sky, a sleeping guardian watching her children return. As the ship disappeared into the horizon, a quiet voice, faint and almost lost to time, whispered through the static once more. Home, at last. And for the first time in 500,000 years, Earth was not silent anymore. The sky shimmered gently, as if smiling. The fortress had become a beacon, and humanity's story, once ended, had finally begun again.